Now, there's been a lot of debate on social media over the possible renaming of the University of Ghana, Legon, to the J.B. Dankwa University. Well, this came as a result of a president's statement indicating that Mr. J.B. Dankwa's efforts in setting up the university should not be overlooked. Well, we went to the school and sought the views of some of the students. Maxwell Agbagba has more.
I'm currently some meters away from the Ivan Mensa intersection here on the University of Ghana campus. Well, President Akufo-Addo was here some days ago to launch the university's endowment fund. Well, he made some statements. He said, actually, that his uncle, J.B. Dankwa, is actually the founder of the University of Ghana. In fact, in his own words, he says it is wholly appropriate and will not be far-fetched for anybody to say that J.B. Dankwa is the founder of the University of Ghana. We are here on this campus to find out from some of the students here whether they are even aware that J.B. Dankwa played any role in the establishment of the University of Ghana. We've also been monitoring the conversation on a lot of social media platforms, on Facebook, Twitter, and then on WhatsApp especially. Well, some past and present students think that President Akufo-Addo is laying the foundations to rename the school. They're saying that J.B. Dankwa University.
All right, so I am Ernest Sasu Kwame Sawado, a graduate in history master's level.
Okay.
And indeed, I have had this conversation, and it's very interesting from my point of view as a historian.
Oh, okay.
Trained for that matter.
Now, tell me, was your undergrad here at the University of Ghana?
Absolutely. Finished in 2014.
2014, and now you finished with your master's, or you still doing your master's?
Finished with the master's, graduated November 2017.
Okay, so you have a lot to do with the University of Ghana, and you in fact studied history here at the University of Ghana. Was it the first time you're hearing that J.B. Dankwa is actually the founder? President Akufo-Addo said it's wholly appropriate to say that he's the founder of the University of Ghana. Do you think that's correct?
Well, I think that is an argument that defeats a number of purposes historically. And for me, it isn't entirely surprising following the trajectory of this current government's involvement in reshaping Ghana's historical past. I mean, 2 or so years ago, we had the conversation about Sixth March and the need or the argument or the claim to move it to 4th August.
Yeah.
And subsequently, we had the argument about Founders Day and Founder Day. And subsequently, some universities in the Northern Territory of Ghana has seen changes. So University of Ghana is just an event in a chain. And I think it's absolutely important to put this conversation in context. So elevating an individual over a collective interest for which the University of Ghana was established is one reason that I think this idea, if should be carried forward, as has already been done elsewhere, would be a terrible shot in the feet. And it opens up other questions, but I'm not sure we'll have enough time to deliberate entirely these issues. But this is where we can start.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. Interesting preliminary remarks, I should say. Now let me find out from you. Is it the first time you're hearing this? Maybe you want to give us a bit of introduction.
Okay, Gilles Mtpe is my name, and I'm a level 300 political science and French student. And actually, this is not the first time I'm hearing about this. We've had conversations with colleagues at the department concerning the whole role that our founders have played in making Ghana what Ghana is, and that has actually cut across, not just the political aspect, but the foundation of the University of Ghana as well. So it is known that J.B. Dankwa had played a role, but he is not the only one, to the best of my knowledge, that has actually played a key role in making University of Ghana what University of Ghana is. So at the end of the day, as my senior said, it's a chain, okay, and we are seeing that it's a trend with this new government to actually change things and reshape history, but with this past, let's see how it goes.
Interesting. Well, there are some people who are saying on social media that President Akufo-Addo is actually laying the foundations to rename this institution. Was that the first thing that came to mind when you heard this?
Okay, so I think that contextually, generally, when people heard, just recently, University of Professional Studies, Accra, just here, it was renamed to Nana Opoku-Ampoma University. It was, I don't even know the real name. So you see, contextually, when people heard this and it was initiated by the president, and we realized that there were also a number of changes of names that have been going on.
In fact, for the UPSA one, we are told that it was a council that made the proposition, and President Akufo-Addo actually endorsed, that proposition. So for that one, yeah, UPSA, it came from the council, Yeah.
Well,
but I mean, some people are saying, with the benefit of hindsight, what they've seen with University of Mines and Technology at Takwa, I mean, it's now Park Branch University. I mean, they've seen the Flagstaff House being renamed Jubilee House and all of those things. They're saying with the benefit of that hindsight, they think that he's laying the foundations to rename the school. Is that what came to mind the first time you heard President Akufo-Addo saying that it's wholly appropriate to say that J.B. Dankwa is the founder of the University of Ghana?
Okay, so again, contextually, following the argument from Monday after the president was here for the launch of the endowment fund, and after that's when he made the contextual statement. When you follow it critically, you realize that these are foundations that may be laid. If the president or the council wants to rename the university, they would not just come and say we are renaming the university. It will start from a place. It will start from laying a single brick. It will start from laying 2 bricks. So generally, this argument has now come into the space, and everybody is now aware that J.B. Dankwa was one of the initial founders, if I may say, of the university, one of the proponents who forced for the university to be established. So once that this is now known and every student is now aware that, okay, probably this is now true, then people's mindsets are now being changed to eventually accept it, if indeed the president or the council would want to change the university's name. Interesting.
You are a master student. You've done your masters, you finished with your masters. You're a historian, I should say. If you look at the establishment of the University of Ghana, we are told that when the British, the colonial government actually wanted to establish a university, the proposal was that they should build one university for the West African colonies in Ibadan, Nigeria. It was J.B. Dankwa who pushed for a separate university for Ghana, and now we have the University of Ghana. By this advocacy, is it not justified to say that he was very instrumental, and in fact, it would not be misplaced to actually say that he's the founder of the University of Ghana?
Well, you see, such questions are very simple, but they do not admit of simple answers.
Okay.
The evidence of the University of Ghana's history, is quite deep and it's complicated. Yes, indeed, I share the sentiment of what the British had. Of course, they saw the whole West African bloc as one big unit. So for them, the purpose, of course, this was after the Second World War, and well, for those informed, what was happening. There was an acceleration to make colonies free, for instance. So higher education, the colonies' welfare, and other issues as such came into the picture. So that is where questions that at university, higher education becomes a priority. And a colleague of mine at the Institute of African Studies just finished his MPhil thesis on Sir Akufo-Addo, who he has shown convincingly as playing an instrumental role in the establishment of University of Ghana, because then it was insufficient to put one university for the whole African sub-region, West Africa, in Nigeria. Think about the chaos, think about the conflict of interest, you understand? So elevating one person would, for instance, mean that you have eliminated the role of, say, Akufo-Addo, who you can't write out. So like I indicated initially, it is a collective gain. Okay. And you can't put one person ahead of everybody else.
Now, there are a lot of people who, conversation on social media, a lot of past and present students are actually against the renaming of University of Ghana. In fact, let's make it clear that President Akufo-Addo has not said he's going to rename the University of Ghana. He just made a point that J.B. Dankwa, it's wholly appropriate to say that he's the founder of the University of Ghana. But some people are saying that he's laying the foundations to rename it. Should it happen that University of Ghana is renamed, what do you make of even thoughts about renaming University of Ghana? Do you think it would be the right thing to do?
Maxwell, I believe in institutional branding, and I think that you don't just wake up one morning to actually change the structures of institutions like University of Ghana. This is a brand on its own, and there's a need for actually maintain or perfect the brand. What is the renaming going to play? Which role the renaming is going to play in making the brand more appealing, be it to funders, be it to donors, be it to students who actually come to the school. I think the focus should not just be on changing names, but to actually perfect brands. I had a conversation on with a couple of colleagues when the UPSA issue came up, and I asked a very simple question: who is in charge of marketing there, or who is in charge of branding there? At the end of the day, yes, there's a need for us to recognize people's work, people's input in our history, but we are growing as an institution, we are evolving as a nation. Focusing too much on the past does not really fix our issues. Is the debate right now in Ghana supposed to be about who founded the University of Ghana or not? No. The debate is about the graduates that the University of Ghana is producing. Are they getting jobs or not? So at the end of the day, let's be focused. Let's do some analysis. There's a need for us to protect the brand, the UG brand, which has been there for 70 good years. UG is not a 10-year-old institution. It's a 70-year-old institution. And as it stands now, we are celebrating UG at 70. So my focus personally, I personally feel that the debate is misplaced. There's no need for us to even be thinking about such. My friend stated earlier on that J.B. Dankwa, yes, played a role, but he's not the only one who played a role. After naming University of Ghana after him, what are we doing about the others? Are we naming other universities after them? Are we naming buildings, roads, or facilities after them as well? So those are the things we should take into consideration. Do not just wake up and feel like, oh, let's make a change and change things around. Institutional branding is very key.
Interesting points you've made. Now, let me find out from you. I'll be wrapping up with this in the next 3 minutes. Let me find out from you what you also make. Thoughts about...
Well, definitely the debate and the conversation continues. You can join my Peter Sibidi on Joy News Interactive for more on this.